What is going on, everyone? My name is Andy. Welcome back to another FPL video. In this one, it is FPL triple Game Week 35 team selection. I know what people are going to say in the comments. Is it really a triple game week if they don't play 3 times? Yada, yada, yada. There's not much rest time. We don't get triple game weeks very often. Let's get excited about it. I'm on a free hit as well, so I'm going to go through the current draft. There's going to be tinkering in this video. There absolutely has to be. And obviously how I did in Game Week 34 as well. So give it a like and hit that subscribe button if you are new around here. I have also partnered with Weekly 7. If you haven't checked it out, link in the description below. Just for playing, you get a £5 Uber Eats voucher, and all you got to do is guess 7 scores correctly, completely free to play, and if you get all 7 right, it's £1 million in your pocket. So click that link in the description below and give it a try, and I'll go through my picks later on in the video. So I'm not going to spend too much time on this, to be completely honest with you. Game Week 34 was pretty awful. What was more annoying for me, I found, right, is I only had one player actually miss out from the Liverpool Man United game. So I had no Man United players. Trent and Jota ended up getting benched, and I actually was able to field 10 players this week, and I still managed only 37 points. I saw plenty of people on kind of 40, some even on 50, very few though, with kind of 8, 9 players. So it was a little bit frustrating. I did take another red arrow, so I was down to 3292 overall rank. I think I dropped by about 600 places. It wasn't really that many points difference, which would have got me a green arrow. It was like 6 or 7 or something like that. Dan Burn, very happy that he came off 3rd from the bench. But Dallas, Dawson and Konza, absolute rubbish. Dawson, right, I tweeted this out if you follow me on Twitter. He had 5.5 points per game before Game Week 29. Since I bought him in 29, he's on minus 0.4 points per game. He's not even in positive, and I know some people are going to say, well, it's Dawson, he's rubbish, etc. But West Ham defence have been great, and the big issue was I didn't have a crystal ball to foresee that Rice and then Cresswell and then Antonio were all going to get injured, and Rice in particular I think has been a big miss. So Dawson's been awful, but luckily I don't have to play him this week. Elsewhere, Son got 12 points, which was nice. I never even really considered Bale, so I'm not going to beat myself up too much about that. Lingard, another blank. Since I brought him in, 1 penalty, that is it. I knew he couldn't keep it up. I couldn't resist bringing him in. Kane captain, really bad. Iheanacho 1 assist. Vardy blank as well. I really had high hopes starting from that Southampton game for Leicester. They were going to score a good amount of goals, get a good amount of points. I mean, Vardy did have his chances. Iheanacho had chances to score more than 5 points as well. It just wasn't to be. And Martinez, again, since he got those, I think it was 2 4 points in a row. I think one of them was against Liverpool, I think. He's just done nothing. He's been awful again. But again, I don't have to play him this week. Luckily on a free hit, I don't have to see this team again until Game Week 36. And there is a lot of players to change. So I'm going to go through my weekly 7 picks, and then we're going to take a look at my nailed on players on the free hit, and then do some tinkering about how the team is looking right now. So as I mentioned at the start of the video, I have partnered with Weekly 7. It's a great game, potential to win £1 million. All you have to do is predict 7 scores. It's completely free to play, 18 plus UK only. There are links to BeGambleAware in the description below as well if you want to check them out. But yeah, we just got to pick 7 scores. So I'm going to go through mine, and obviously £1 million would be pretty decent, right? It's a little bit better than the prize you get for winning FPL. So I'm going to just go through Leeds versus Spurs. So Leeds have, I mean, there's a lot of talk about Leeds defending better recently, but then they lost 2-0 to Brighton. I think the way Spurs played against Sheffield United bodes well for them. So I think Leeds will possibly score in this. I'm just going to put down 1, but I think Spurs will get another 3. So I'm going to go 3-1 Spurs. Man City, Chelsea, right? This is got the potential to be tight. Man City are playing so well right now. Unbelievable performance again against PSG. But playing Chelsea is tough. They know more about them. They're also pretty defensively sound. I think City win this one. And I know Chelsea beat them in the FA Cup, but I think City win. We're going to go 2-0. I don't think Chelsea are going to score. Let me know what you think about that in the comments below. Liverpool versus Southampton. I mean, Liverpool absolutely winning this one. I'm going to go 3-0. I think Danny Ings is out for Southampton. I don't see them scoring. And like I said, I think last week, Liverpool drew a few goals. How they didn't get more against Newcastle, I do not know. Wolves versus Brighton. Again, pretty tight game. I can see Brighton scoring in this one. I'm not so sure about Wolves, to be honest. I'm going to go none for Wolves. And I'm going to go 2-0 Brighton. I think they deserve way more points than they've got in the league, and maybe they're going to get that in the last few games. Villa versus Man United. I just think Villa, if Jack Grealish isn't back, are going to find it tough. I'm going to go for no goals there. I'm predicting a lot of clean sheets this week. Again, let me know what you think about that, because it feels like in FPL there's never any clean sheets. And I think Man United do really well. I'm going to put 3 goals for this one too. Obviously, I had an extended rest because of no Liverpool game and stuff like that. West Ham versus Everton. I think this could be fairly open. I think Everton will score, but I think with Antonio back, West Ham win. So I'm going to go 2-1. And then Arsenal West Brom. West Brom playing all right at the moment. I don't know whether Arsenal are going to rotate players or rest any players in defence. So I'm going to put West Brom down for scoring. But again, I think Arsenal will win 2-1. And that is it. That's all you have to do. You just submit your entry. Are you sure? I'm absolutely sure. Job done. That's it. And then that is it. You get a £5 Uber Eats voucher just for playing. If it doesn't pop up when you submit your picks, just go down to the wallet at the bottom and then click vouchers, and they should all show up in there. So give it a go. There's a link in the description below if you want to play completely free and a chance to win £1 million. Okay, so the way I've structured the rest of the video is to have the nailed on players, and then the current draft, and then we're going to do some tinkering afterwards, because there's loads of different ways I could go with this. In terms of using the free hit, I've got 104.8 million squad value. In the bank doesn't really matter, neither does the bench, because if I pick any player that's not going to play at least once, then I'm probably making some kind of mistake there. But these are nailed on players. Now, other things that are nailed on are, I'm definitely going triple Man United. I'm definitely going triple Liverpool. I haven't quite decided where that player is yet. And as you'll see with the tinkering, there's loads of different ways you could play it. And obviously, I'm recording this on Thursday. It's going out on Thursday afternoon. Man United have still got a European tie to play yet. And given now that Solskjaer knows how many games are coming in the league, and they're already 6-2 up in the Europa League, how many changes will there be? And that could play a big part in my kind of final decisions. But these 6 players have been on pretty much every single draft. So let's go through them. Iheanacho is just so cheap. And I think I could possibly make a case for Watkins over him, but the fact that Watkins plays Man United and there's no Grealish, I don't think he's going to be back this week again. Whether or not he'll even be back for the rest of the season, I don't know. It's very hard to put him in over Iheanacho. So because of the price, and because he just fits so well, and I think striker-wise, there aren't too many options. Like Cavani, for me, is so far down the list of Man United players I want. He's not really even an option on my free hit. So Iheanacho's pretty much in. I haven't swapped him out at all. I also think Calvert-Lewin's going to be in, because with the third striker slot, it could be a cheap player, it could be someone like Vardy, but Calvert-Lewin's at that price point where he's playing 2 defences. How I've just spoken about Craig Dawson, about how awful he's been recently because of no Declan Rice, I think has been one of the big factors in that. So West Ham away and then Villa away have also been conceding goals. Again, I know that as a Martinez owner and a Konza owner in my normal team, but I think it's a good fixture for Calvert-Lewin. And I've spoken about him earlier on this week in the transfer tips video, that I don't care about his form in the last 10, 11 games, whatever kind of sample size you want to use to make the point. My point would be that all season, his underlying stats have been pretty decent, and that's a very big sample size, and I would happily risk it for 2 games like this. Fernandes has got to be in. I mean, as soon as he had a double potential, he was going to be in. But a triple game week, look, will he start all 3 games? Absolutely. It's probably very unlikely, right? And a big part of it is what happens in the Europa League. If he doesn't start in the Europa League, which I think would be unlikely, I don't think Solskjaer will risk that, even with a 4-goal lead. Will he start Villa, Leicester, Liverpool with like 1 day rest in between the Villa-Leicester and then the Leicester-Liverpool game? Probably not. But the one thing with Man United players is you pretty much get 2 guaranteed starts. What I will say, just really quickly on a tangent, for anyone that's considering maybe a Salah captain instead, I don't think that's the worst call. Because yes, you can't guarantee 2 games that he'll play both, but it's very likely that he will because he's got nothing else to play for. So Salah captain could be an option alongside Fernandes. But on a free hit, if you think I'm turning down triple game week, so triple Man United for a triple game week, then yeah, you'd be sorely mistaken. So Fernandes will be in. He will be my captain. Trent will definitely be the second Liverpool player as well. Whether or not it's another defender, whether that's Robertson, Phillips or Mane or even Jota potentially. Although I think, again, Jota, a bit like Cavani, is probably quite far down my list. Trent will definitely be in. And there's got to be Harry Maguire. Now, part of this is just selling myself the dream that he scores me a goal in a double, or should I say triple game week, because that would be amazing. For anyone that watched the channel last year, I kind of, because of COVID and everything, and we didn't even know if football and FPL was going to come back anytime soon and whether the season would be ended, I just went triple Man United. I got Maguire in. I kept talking about a Maguire goal from a Fernandes assist off a set piece. Now, obviously, Shaw takes a lot of set pieces now, unfortunately, for FPL, but that dream is still on. And the thing with Maguire is he has not missed a minute of football this season. I don't think he's missed a minute since last year either in the Premier League. So if anybody is going to start 3 games, it's probably him. And again, you could easily say, well, Leicester could score, Villa could score, Liverpool could score. Is there any clean sheet potential? Yeah, okay, it's difficult, but Man United defence is quite good. And whether if they get one clean sheet and then a few appearance points in the other ones, you're almost getting close to double figures. And I think the important thing to think about is you're not necessarily trying to, I mean, you are trying to get like big hauls, like 20 plus hauls, but it's very unlikely. You want the players that are giving you the best chance of getting like a realistic score. So could Harry Maguire get double figures in this week? Absolutely, of course he could. And then anything else is a bonus. So he's definitely in. I don't see, through whatever tinkering I do or whatever team I end up with tomorrow, that it won't include these 6 players. Let's look at the current draft. So again, I won't spend too much time on this bit because there is a lot of tinkering to be done, but a lot of these players have featured in most of my drafts. Jamie Vardy, for example, really depends on whether I want to take a punt in midfield instead. Whether that's 3-4-3 but with a cheap striker, or 3-5-2 is another potential option. But the thing I like about him is I think he's pretty much guaranteed to play twice. I know a lot of people are talking about the FA Cup final, could he be rested? But top 4 is important, and even getting second place would be huge for Leicester, right? So I think he's just had a break, so he's definitely starting that Newcastle game, surely. Is he going to rest Jamie Vardy against Man United in the league, when Man United are their main competition for second place? I'm not so sure about that. I've seen some people question whether he starts both. I think he does. I think there's enough rest time in between for him to do that. Bearing in mind, he started the last double game week as well, when I believe there was 1 day less rest, maybe. I could be wrong on that. But I think he starts twice. He's on penalties. He's going to play 90 minutes pretty much in both, unless they got a big score. So I like him. Zaha, we're going to have to wait and see about his groin problem, because Hodgson talked after the game about a groin problem that he felt before the last game, but then he played the whole game pretty much. So I don't really know what the issue is there, but we'll see what Hodgson says. That spot, I think, is the most difficult, because if it's not Zaha and you stick with midfield, you've got Havertz, but will he play twice? One of them's Man United. You've got Mason Mount. One of the games is Man City. Mason Mount obviously has got the same problem. One of them's Man City. El Ghazi's on penalties. One of the games is Man United. Will he play both games? James Ward-Prowse. There's a lot of love for him this week. I can see why, because he's on penalties now. But one of the games is Liverpool. And of course, they could get a result, but I wouldn't bank on it. So I don't like Ward-Prowse. So I think, if anything, if Zaha was out, I'd probably be more likely to go 4-3-3 than just to replace him. Greenwood's in as the third Man United player. But again, obviously, that could be Rashford. It could be Shaw. It could be Henderson in goal. A lot of people asked me about Henderson yesterday. I think I've come around to him a lot more, because he has been playing all the league games. So potentially another player that could get 3 starts. But Greenwood, if he gets rested against Roma, whichever attacker gets rested against Roma, because I don't think, Solskjaer would be crazy to go completely full straight. I don't think you give the opposition a chance. You don't go full kind of second string side. But he's got to give some attackers a rest, right? Cavani can't play all the games either, so Greenwood could fill in on the right or up front. So I quite like him as an option, a cheap one. Robertson in defence. I've got to be honest, most of the drafts I've done include Robertson and Trent, but I have toyed with going for Phillips instead. And if I went from Robertson to Phillips, I could go from Zaha to Aubameyang. And again, I'll have to look at the Europa League team sheet. I'll have to look at what's going on with Lacazette before I make that decision. Guaita is someone I quite like this week. I think Sheffield United away and Southampton away, they're both quite poor attacks. So although Crystal Palace are bad, I would hope for at least 1 clean sheet. I think if it's not Guaita, it'll be because I've gone for Henderson. Otherwise, there's not really anyone else I'm considering. Pickford, for example, is an option, but I'd probably go for the Palace keeper ahead of him. So that's how the draft's looking. Ignore the bench, because I'll just make that as cheap as possible as I need to for the main team. But I quite like this. I think obviously the players with squares around are the ones that aren't completely nailed on, but I think it looks good. One thing for sure, I'm definitely going for 11 double game week players. None of this Bale, none of this Son, none of this Kane nonsense. They do well, fair enough. But I've got a free hit in a triple game week. We are going all out for it. And then just hoping for the best, really. So I have actually activated it now, by the way. It did take me a while to do it, but you can see here, free hit active. I've not made the mistake of going, loads of transfers and not remembering to hit the button, basically. But we're going to do some tinkering, right? And obviously, this is not set in stone. I'm not pretending this video is going to say that this is the team now. But it's kind of starting to come together, I think. We'll put in Henderson because I think there's a chance that I do go for him. Like, if you look at his recent games, if I can scroll down, he has now started the last 7 games, right? And David De Gea has been starting the Europa League games. I still think there is obviously a chance that Henderson does miss one out because there is quick succession, right? In fact, it's mad how quick the games are. So we're playing Thursday tonight. Then Sunday the 9th, Tuesday the 11th, Thursday the 13th. Like, that is not kind at all. So even Henderson could get a rest. I'm not taking it for granted that he definitely starts. Obviously, then I've got too many Man United players. So Greenwood could come out there, and I've got 7.3 to spend. But this is where you can start mixing things up. So Robertson, for example, could become Phillips. So we put Phillips in instead, 4.1 million. Obviously, we'd have to wait on kind of his fitness and stuff like that. But this would then be 343. So you'd have 10.3 million to spend on this slot. So you could go up to Havertz, or you drop Jamie Vardy down for Watkins. And I've already accidentally sold Vardy once, so I don't need to worry about his value anymore. And then I've got like 14.1 million to spend on Greenwood. So that could be a Aubameyang. Again, I don't know, we'll see what happens in the Europa League with him. But that is an option as well. Now, that 2.8 million, like Zaha could go up to a 9.9, so you could put in Bale instead if you wanted to. I don't think Phillips doesn't go all the way to Robertson. I wonder if I can actually fit Robertson in, actually. Hang on a second. I might be able to fit him in. I can't remember if I've done this. I've done so many drafts at this point already. It's insane. Yeah, I could fit Robertson in still. Vardy to Aubameyang is really the key there. So we'll just put someone cheap in, right? It doesn't matter for now. Lewis, whatever. They're not going to play. So I can make the transfers there because I've got no value tied up in any of those players. So that would then be the team. Now, again, I quite like Vardy. But if I could go to Watkins, I could go to Benteke if I wanted to as well. They are options. Maguire and Henderson are quite boring picks, I would say, because goal threat, you kind of want Luke Shaw, I would say. But I think these two have got the best chance of getting 3 games. Probably Wan-Bissaka as well. But like I said, Fernandes definitely captain. Someone like Aubameyang, like a big hitter like that, is interesting to me. And I could go there. The other option is to switch out Aubameyang to someone like Mane and take a punt on him because he's very low owned as well. You'd have to obviously swap Robertson out. But you could go for any of the other popular defenders. So there's a few ways that this could be played. So one of the ways is to go to like someone like Luca Dean or Castagna, depending on who your preference is or who my preference is. And that would be the team. So Mane would be the big differential. Still no Vardy with Luca Dean in there, and obviously you got Henderson as well. Or if you didn't feel like Henderson, I keep saying if you didn't, like I'm doing a free hit draft. This is for me. Another way around is to get Guaita back in goal, who I'm quite tempted by, and just put a second Man United defender in there instead. So you could put... I'd probably go for Shaw. If I was going for 2 defenders, I don't think I would go for Maguire and Wan-Bissaka. I would do Maguire as the one quite likely to play 3. And then even if Shaw only plays twice, which is very likely, he is more attacking. So he probably would be the one I go for if I go for 2 defenders. And I would just confirm it like that. And that would probably be the squad then with Manny in. Now, the key thing for me is... what about Zaha? What if Roy Hodgson rules him out? So I've got a lot of money to spend on that spot. So I could probably swing it to get someone like Bale with 9.2. But Havertz, Mount again are options. El Ghazi. But realistically, what I think I would do is play 4 at the back basically. So instead of Mane in this situation, I'd probably go Aubameyang. And the reason being, if I'm going for another defender, I probably want Robertson. Now, it could be Luca Dean and Robertson, but I think I'm quite keen on going... it could be Luca Dean and Aubameyang or Luca Dean and Mane, but I'm quite I'm quite tempted to go Robertson and Trent, 'cause I think it's a big differential. And then that 6.6 million player could be anyone, because they would just be on the bench anyway. So I'll put Ward-Prowse in there. I'm just checking I'm not losing any value on these players. I don't think I am. And then Ward-Prowse would come out and Robertson would go in. So it's 4-3-3, but in a double game week, like, defensive options do so well at times, and I think Liverpool got a good chance at a clean sheet in both games, because I think the Man United game will be tight. Obviously, they're going to try and attack because they're trying to get into top 4. But Man United haven't really got too much to gain by going all out and just losing the lead straight away. So I do think it could be tight. So this is an option for me as well. 2 defenders from Man United, Liverpool. 3 massive hitters in midfield, Salah, Fernandes, Aubameyang, and I can't wait to see how this goes terribly wrong. And then your cheap strikers up front. So that's kind of where I'm at. Do I go for Vardy? Do I go for Mane? Do I go for Aubameyang? And once I do that, it's just about slotting the rest of the players in place. Like, this could be Henderson in goal, and Luke Shaw could come out for Luca Dean or for Castagna or someone like that. And to be honest, I'm not really sure how I'm going to decide, because I just... This is what I hate almost about free hits, is you get yourself into this like headache where you're constantly going round and round in circles, just swapping a few different slots for basically the same team. No matter what I change around, there's going to be 3 Liverpool players in this. There's going to be 3 Man United. So at some point, I'm probably just going to think, right, no more headache. That's it. The team is locked in. The worst thing is I've got to do a deadline stream this week. Well, like every week, it's not the worst thing to be doing it. But to do it on a free hit is going to be a nightmare, because everyone's going to have so many opinions. But that is how the team could look. I do fancy going for a big hitter like Aubameyang, or Mane. And by the way, really quickly, because I know this section is getting a bit long, it is possible to also fit Vardy in, I believe. So we're just going to do it quickly now. So Vardy in, you got to make up 3 million. This is where you do Robertson to Phillips, potentially. I don't know if I'd want to risk Phillips, and I can make up money by taking Ward-Prowse down to whoever, right? So I've got a lot of money to burn on this. But this is another way. So you play Phillips. You could play Ward-Prowse, right? Could play Ward-Prowse instead of Phillips. But if I wanted to back the double defence and go for double Liverpool, that's another thing. So in this one, you've got Salah, Fernandes, Aubameyang and Vardy. You've still got Trent, Maguire, Shaw as well. That looks quite nice. I don't know. It doesn't sit right with me going for 4 at the back on a free hit. It just feels like the week to go all-out attack. But the way things are lining up, I'm not quite sure. And then the other option, I had to slightly cut in there because I went through a bit of tinkering with a 3-5-2 and it didn't quite go right. So I've edited that bit out. But I'm just playing around with a 3-5-2 now. I don't think it's that good, to be honest. I think one of the problems... it's not that it's a problem, but I just don't think it works very well. So Guaita would have to come in, because I think if you're going 3-5-2, you've got to go for 2 Man United midfielders. So you'd want Greenwood probably in here. And again, I've got Aubameyang. You could go for someone cheaper in that slot, but I'm trying to get the most out of this team where I can. And then the other option would be to drop Holding down to someone even cheaper and just really have no bench whatsoever. We'll just put Stroke in there. So that would be the team then. So yeah, Henderson, Smith Rowe, yeah. I don't think I've lost any money on them. So that would be a 3-5-2. So Greenwood will come in for Davis. So yeah, you still have 1, 2, 3 Man United, 1, 2, 3 Liverpool, Aubameyang in there as well, and Zaha. That midfield's quite nice. I quite like it. I do. Now I've worked it out, I do quite like it, because it's Greenwood instead of Watkins. It's Zaha instead of Watkins. It actually works out quite nicely. I think there's obviously... It just depends. It's not really a risk, but going for double attack, there's something in the back of my mind telling me for Man United on a free hit that double defence is better. And I know it always feels better to go for the attackers, but sometimes defenders just got more chance of playing twice. If they nick a clean sheet here or there, suddenly the score starts ramping up. And I think, yes, Man United's fixtures are tricky, but they are good for clean sheets in general, although playing so many games in quick succession is going to be tough on the legs. So we'll see. That's the 3-5-2 tinkering. I don't think I can get it much better than that, but let me know in the comments below what you think of all these drafts, which one's the best, There's lots of options. So there we go. That is it for this one. I'm not even sure how long that took, but there was a lot to get off my chest in terms of free hit, drafts, tinkering, and all that good stuff. It's exciting, but it's almost a little bit frustrating that we've only just got the news and now we've got to figure it out by tomorrow for the Friday deadline. But it is FPL. It has been a chaotic season. It's all fun and games at the end of the day. Do give it a like if you enjoyed it and hit that subscribe button if you're new around here. If you haven't already tried out Weekly 7 game, there's a link in the description below. 18 plus UK only. It's completely free to play. If you guess all 7 scores right, you get £1 million. There's no real reason not to try it out. So click that link in the description below and give it a go. And lastly, if you haven't already signed up to Patreon or checked it out, again, links to that in the description below as well. Big shout out and thank you to everybody that has signed up. Much appreciated. And like I said, any payments for June and stuff like that will be stopped anyway. Right, we'll be back for July for all that pre-season content, which I cannot wait for. So thank you for watching this one. Tomorrow I'll have captaincy and a deadline stream. I might fit in a free hit team review if I'm confident that I've got it sorted before the deadline stream, but I'm not sure that will be the case. But I will keep my eye on the Europa League games tonight to see what happens and then try and figure it out from there. Thank you for watching. Please do hit that like button if you enjoyed it. Hit subscribe if you're new around here, and I'll see you soon.